Aphelion throws you onto Persephone, a frozen alien world where survival feels almost impossible. Earth is collapsing, and 2 astronauts are sent to start over. But their ship crashes, leaving Ariane stranded in the ice while her partner Thomas is injured and cut off miles away. You step into both their perspectives, switching between struggle and hope, always chasing the chance of reunion. The planet itself doesn't want you alive. Oxygen runs thin, storms slam across the surface, and the cold seeps into every step you take. Climbing frozen cliffs with nothing but improvised tools feels like gambling with your last breath. Shelter is rare, food is scarcer, and the horizon is nothing but snow and silence. But beneath that ice, strange signals flicker, hinting at secrets buried deep below. Alone, freezing, and running out of air, the question isn't just how long you can survive. It's what you'll uncover before the planet swallows you whole. Aphelion is coming in 2026 to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Also available day 1 on Game Pass.
You will sleep through 14 years of flight to your new home on Caesura. We encourage you to nurture your dreams. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. When you wake up, your new life begins.
Subnautica 2 takes the series back under the waves, this time on a completely new alien ocean world. It's still survival at its core, balancing oxygen, hunger, and crafting tools to push deeper, but now you don't have to face it alone. Up to 4 players can explore together in full co-op, scavenging resources, building bases, and braving the deep as a team. The sequel expands every system. Base building is more flexible with modular structures, vehicles can be customized and upgraded for longer dives, and the ocean is filled with fresh biomes, from glowing coral forests to pitch-black trenches. New creatures roam these zones, some harmless, others massive and aggressive, forcing you to prepare carefully before every dive. It's a survival sandbox built for exploration and danger, but with co-op and mechanics like biological adaptation, it feels like the biggest leap the series has made yet. Subnautica 2 launches in early access in 2026 on PC, with console versions including Xbox Series X and S to follow. Blackfrost, The Long Dark 2 pushes survival into darker territory, set years after the Aurora event that wiped out modern technology. This time, the struggle isn't just in the wilderness. It extends into a frozen industrial city called Harmont, where the cold isn't your only enemy. The sequel keeps the grounded survival from the first game, where every calorie, every hour of rest, and every piece of clothing can decide your fate. But it adds layers of psychological survival through a new will-to-live system. Fear, stress, and mental resilience matter just as much as hunger or fatigue, making every decision feel heavier. For the first time, you can also play with friends in full co-op, braving the elements together or splitting tasks to keep your group alive. The dangers are harsher: aurora storms, corrupted wildlife, and a new Blackfrost radiation that creeps through the city. It's a world where death isn't just the end, it leaves scars on the story of your survivor. Blackfrost: The Long Dark 2 enters early access in 2026 on PC. The Lost Wild is a first-person survival horror adventure where you're stranded in an overgrown research facility surrounded by living, breathing dinosaurs. You play as Saskia, a reporter caught in a mysterious event guided only by a voice on the radio as you try to survive and uncover what went wrong. Survival here doesn't come from heavy weapons. Dinosaurs aren't monsters to mow down. They act like wild animals. They'll stalk you, investigate sounds, and react to your presence. Your tools are distraction, intimidation, and quick thinking. Scavenge gear, craft makeshift contraptions, and use fire, flares, or noise to scare predators off just long enough to escape. Exploration mixes dense jungles, decayed labs, and hidden paths that branch out across a hub-style map. Every step is tense because you're never sure if the rustle in the brush is harmless or a raptor about to pounce. The Lost Wild is set to launch in late 2025 or 2026 for PC, with console versions planned after. Lost Rift is a first-person survival adventure from People Can Fly, the studio behind Outriders and Bulletstorm. You wake up on Pioneer's Landing, a dangerous archipelago where survival means building, crafting, and fighting your way through shifting environments and rival players. It can be played solo or with up to 5 players in co-op. You'll gather resources, construct shelters and workbenches, and prepare for expeditions into unstable islands. These zones are high risk, filled with rare loot, but also PPVE encounters where hostile creatures and other players can end your run in seconds. The environment itself is unpredictable. Hurricanes, wildfires, and lightning storms reshape the world on the fly, forcing you to adapt to sudden danger. It blends the tension of survival with the pace of a shooter, giving every expedition weight. Lost Rift launches into early access on September 25th, 2025 for PC via Steam, with more updates planned as the world evolves.
Beyond the gates. You helped us make something greater than the fear and death that surrounded us. We found hope in each other.
Need help. I'm surrounded. They're everywhere. There's way more than I was expecting.
And even if we bought the other survivors just one more day, the sacrifice would be worth it. It would always be worth it. And that helped us find the courage to keep going, to fight on. When we needed it the most. I didn't know you well. But we'll keep your memory alive. Every sacrifice we make matters and will never be forgotten.
State of Decay 3 is the next step in open-world zombie survival, built around community, resource management, and the constant threat of the undead. You're not just one survivor, you're leading an entire group, building a base and making sure every person has food, shelter, and a reason to keep going. The series' trademark permadeath is back. When someone dies, they're gone for good, and their skills and relationships leave a hole in the community. Survivors remember the people they've lost, and the world feels heavier because of it. This time, the threat isn't just zombies either. The trailers have already shown infected wildlife like wolves and deer roaming the forests, making the world even more unpredictable. It's all playable solo or in co-op with friends, where you can build and defend your community together. State of Decay 3 is expected in 2026 for PC and Xbox Series X and S, and like all Xbox exclusives, it'll be available day one on Game Pass. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown takes the crew of the Voyager and puts their survival in your hands. It's a story-driven survival strategy game with roguelite elements, where you manage the ship, its crew, and the choices that decide whether they ever make it home from the Delta Quadrant. You'll oversee life support, research labs, and ship systems while sending away teams on dangerous missions to gather resources. Every decision carries risk, from scanning planets for supplies to choosing which crew members to send into harm's way. Fail and they might not come back. Even the ship itself can fall apart if you don't balance repairs and upgrades. What makes it stand out is the freedom to alter Voyager's story. You can embrace controversial technology, save characters who were lost in the show, or make choices that completely change the journey. Each run plays differently, with survival hinging on how you adapt to crises. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown is coming soon to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S.
It's been 50 long years. Every day remains a struggle for our people. Every step forward is paid in blood.
That's no reason to give up. You know that better than anyone.
But I have you. How many others have a goddess looking after them?
Not everyone is as special as you are, my dear Simeon. Even so, they are not alone. They have each other's back when it matters. I have seen them chase their dreams. I have watched them grow. At every turn, they surprise me with their adaptability, their resilience, and their grit.
You know the dangers they face. Only the exceptional can overcome those odds.
No, darling. Even ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Look how far our world has expanded. All because they chose to venture into the unknown. Don't hold their hand. Just open the door, and they'll do the rest.
Outward 2 takes the survival RPG formula further, putting you in the role of an ordinary adventurer in a harsh fantasy world. There are no chosen heroes here, just people trying to endure. You'll manage hunger, illness, and exhaustion while planning every step across hostile landscapes filled with danger. Preparation is everything. The sequel expands survival systems with seasonal weather, harsher terrain, and more reactive environments. Setting up camp, cooking meals, and braving storms become as important as fighting enemies. Combat itself has been rebuilt to feel sharper and more responsive, with new mechanics like dual-wielding weapons giving players more options without breaking the game's grounded feel. Exploration feels alive, with dynamic NPCs, day-night cycles, and events that change based on time and season. Outward has always been about turning small victories into unforgettable moments, and the sequel aims to push that further. Outward 2 is expected in 2026 for PC and consoles. Ferocious drops you onto a mysterious island cut off from the rest of the world, where survival is about more than fighting dinosaurs. You wake up to distress signals and ruins of a lost expedition, but the island itself is crawling with mercenaries, ancient secrets, and wildlife that can tear you apart. It plays like a first-person survival shooter, mixing exploration, crafting, and brutal combat. You'll scavenge resources to customize weapons and gear, then use them against both human soldiers and predators that roam the jungle. Dinosaurs stalk the trees, mercenaries hold territory with heavy firepower, and even mechs show up to make sure no one leaves alive. The environment itself is part of the fight. Underwater caves, steep cliffs, and dense forests push you to adapt every step. It's survival with the speed of an action game, where every encounter feels unpredictable. Ferocious is set to release in winter 2025 for PC, with console versions expected after. Breathedge 2 is space survival turned upside down, mixing genuine danger with absurd humor. You play as the Man, once again thrown into a retro-futuristic galaxy where everything wants to kill you. Except maybe your immortal chicken companion, who somehow makes a return. This time, the survival loop is bigger. Instead of drifting through wreckage, you're managing a full spaceship across multiple star systems. Each zone has its own rules, resources, and enemies, forcing you to adapt constantly. Craft gear, upgrade your ship, and recruit a crew, but don't ignore them. They have personalities and needs, and if you push too far, the whole operation can fall apart. Expect the same dark comedy the series is known for, but layered on top of real survival challenges like oxygen management, resource scarcity, and hostile encounters that range from alien threats to the hazards of space itself. Breathedge 2 is set to release in the first quarter of 2026 on PC, with console versions likely to follow later.